Welcome back to Baselines to Sidelines. I'm your host, Nick. This week, we're talking Colorado Rockies baseball, and for once, there's a lot of positive momentum to discuss. The Rockies have gotten off to a strong start in June, picking up a pair of series victories and delivering one of the biggest wins in franchise history. We'll break down what's been fueling this recent success, including the impressive play of some of the Rockies' young talent, from exciting rookies making an immediate impact to a few other young players continuing to develop at the major league level. There's plenty to be encouraged about despite the team's overall season struggles. But that's not all good news. We'll also discuss the unfortunate announcement that top pitching prospect Chase Dollander will undergo season-ending Tommy John surgery, what it means for his future, and how it impacts the Rockies' plans moving forward. We've got plenty to break down today, so sit back, relax, and let's get into it. This is Baselines to Sidelines. All right, welcome back to Baselines to Sidelines, everybody. I hope you guys are excited. There's a lot to talk about today, Colorado Rockies especially, and this is just an exciting time of year. Really quickly, want to shout out Team USA getting that huge win over Paraguay, and in the World Cup, this is such a fun time. The World Cup is exciting, and it's just a lot of fun. So shout out Team USA. Hopefully they can keep that strong win going. All right. Now, the Rockies in the month of June have had a great time so far. They have won series. Not only they have won 2 out of the 4 series that they've had in June, and they are on a good pace so far. They did get swept by the Brewers, but there's still some encouraging play to be excited about. They got those first 2 wins against the Cubs when the Cubs were at Coors Field, and then unfortunately that third game they got absolutely blasted, but that was still some really good play out of the Rockies, especially since the Cubs are a team that play the Rockies really, really tough no matter what. Even with the Cubs' most recent struggles, they play the Rockies tough. So that was a really good win. And I mean, the Rockies have some players right now that are starting to show up, and I'm excited that there's some young talent that are playing at a good level that the Rockies absolutely need and are hopefully encouraged about. I mean, you have friggin' TJ Rumfield. He is in competition right now, not only to be a legitimate Rookie of the Year candidate, which I think he's third in right now, he is also in competition for Gold Glove at first base. Gold Glove. Ring a bell? When was the last time the Rockies had a Gold Glove first baseman? Last time I could think is Todd Helton, maybe Mark Reynolds, but I don't think he ever got a Gold Glove with the Rockies. So, yeah, think about that. When was the last time the Rockies had a legitimate Gold Glove candidate at first base? That's incredible to see, incredible to hear. I mean, the Rockies traded in the offseason Angel Shivy, a bullpen pitcher. He had his flashes, but a lot of struggles as well. They traded him for TJ Rumfield, a top prospect, one of the better prospects in the Yankees organization. Right now, TJ Rumfield, like I said, is in the Rookie of the Year candidate. He's having a really, really strong year in the big leagues right now. And he's in competition for a Gold Glove. Right now, currently, he is having a 275 batting average with a .356 on base percentage, a .457 slugging, and an .813 OPS. That's pretty darn good stuff from a rookie. That's really darn good stuff from a rookie, and his defense is elite as well. Obviously, him being in a Gold Glove contention. It's just really refreshing to see a young prospect or a young player out of the Rockies organization to be having some great success. And I'm just absolutely thrilled with what this Rockies front office has been able to do. I mean, Angel Shivy has only pitched 2 games for the Yankees, and his stats were okay. He he got a 3.86 ERA out of it, got 3 strikeouts. Beyond that, I mean, gave up a home run. It gave up 2 hits. Like, I'm not trying to dog on Angel Shivy at all because I really liked the guy when he was here for the Rockies. But you have to give the credit to the Colorado Rockies. They won this trade. They have as of right now, in the early part of this season, they have absolutely won this trade. And it's just a tip of the cap to Paul DePodesta and Josh Burns. Like, that is incredible. Absolutely incredible. And I'm really, really excited to see more out of TJ Rumfield and what he can do. Now, going back to kind of bring it back to the rest of the young players, you have Cole Carrig, who made his debut on June 9th. He has friggin' impressed. Cole Carrig is absolutely playing out of his mind right now. Absolutely playing out of his mind. He has played in 7 games, 30 plate appearances with 27 at-bats, has gotten 6 runs, 7 hits, a triple, 3 home runs, 8 RBIs, a walk, only 6 strikeouts, a .259 batting average, a 333 on base percentage, a 667 slugging, and 1,000 OPS. And a 159 OPS plus. Like, that is just really, really impressive stuff to see. And he is played absolutely just lights out. And he's played damn good defense as well, especially in center field. He had a hit. They just finished up the game against the Cubs in Wrigley Field. There was a hit that went to left center field. Cole Carrig backs up, leaps into the ivy, and still makes the catch. Not a lot of players, not a lot of even good players are going to be able to make a catch like that. Now, I'm not, putting God mode on him at this point. Like, that's not what I'm doing. But I'm just trying to get some of these non-Rockies, the people who don't follow the Rockies, or your casual Rockies fans, to take notice of Cole Carrig. He has come into this rotation. He has come into this lineup, and he has made a good problem for the Colorado Rockies, because this outfield logjam is something else. You can't sit here and tell me that the Rockies' outfield depth is super deep and they've got some questions that they have to answer. A lot of this I'll cover in another show when I talk about the Rockies trade deadline stuff. But you have Cole Carrig, who's looking like the real freaking deal. You have Charlie Condon, who's absolutely crushing it in AAA. You have Zach Veen knocking on the door as well, who has right now, I think he's sitting at a damn near 429 batting average. Moniak is an all-star caliber he's ready to come off the injured list. He's actually about to go on a rehab assignment down to AAA, I think on Thursday. That leaves you with Doyle, Carthy, Beck, Thompson, Freeman, and Johnston. That is depth upon depth upon depth upon depth. Now, I'm not saying every single player is an all-star caliber or is absolutely the stunning of the stunning. That's just not true. Because Doyle has had some severe struggles this season. McCarthy had some struggles early in the year. He's started to heat up. Johnston, I mean, he has played solid all throughout. Troy Johnston has played really solid all throughout the year. You have Jordan Beck, who's been, well, that's not been a pretty sight this year, unfortunately. You have Sterling Thompson, who I don't think he is quite there yet. I think he needs to be sent back down to AAA, really work on his swing, really work on those swing mechanics. I think as defense, I think he mostly plays left field. Defensively, I have no problem with him, but that swing needs to be tightened up. And then Freeman is an all-around solid player, a little bit of an injury issue. But Cole Carrig came in. He made his debut because of some injuries. He came in and he not only knocked on the door, but he kicked the door freaking open. And he said, I'm here and I'm going to stay here. You're going to have to make it really damn hard to send me back down to Albuquerque. And I love to see that. I love to see that out of a young player who is, I mean, quite frankly, they're on the up and up, but on a really bad organization, on a really bad team. They are still the worst team in baseball right now. Are they 2025 bad? No, not even close. But Cole Carrig came in and said, I'm going to come in and you're going to have to make it damn hard to send me back down. Like, he is absolutely the real friggin' deal. And I'm impressed. I'm extremely impressed with him. I'm extremely impressed with Charlie Condon to see what he can do. Because right now, they were trying to slate Charlie Condon at first base. I don't think that's going to be the case because you have TJ friggin' Rumfield right now. And then you have Zach Veen, who, yes, he got called up last year and had some severe struggles, but his offseason his offseason turning his life entirely around, got bigger, got stronger, and then had a damn good spring training, and now had an injury, but beyond that, has been playing with his hair on fire down in AAA Albuquerque. Now, some people, I know some people are going to comment, well, it's the PCL, so you have Albuquerque, and then you have, I'm blanking on the other stadium where you're pretty much hitting on the moon. I get that. I'm not denying that. But at the same time, you can't deny really good play. There's still players down in the PCL who are barely hitting 202. So let's put that into perspective. If you're hitting on the moon, why are you hitting at 202? Just saying. Now, I'm not going to just sit here and, be a Rockies glorifier, because the Rockies have problems. They have problems that are not good problems like the outfield. They have a bullpen issue where the bullpen has choked away leads. They have choked away games. Hence the game last night, June 15th, for anybody listening to this much, much later. On June 15th, they had a lead going into the ninth. They had a 4-3 lead, and the bullpen choked it away. They got the Cubs got the walk-off win. You can't sit there and say, I'm not going to sit here and say the Rockies are just over the moon. They're on the right track. They're not. Well, hold on. Sorry. They are on the right track, but they still have major problems, i.e., the bullpen. So, tying this back in with the young players, who can you get with the most value for some arms? Because that's going to be what the Rockies are going to be trading for. And this ties it into my next topic, which is, unfortunately, Chase Dollander, the number one pitching prospect, the number one guy who was supposed to come in. The Rockies drafted him a few years ago. He was supposed to eventually come in, be this ace, and be the guy. Well, unfortunately, he's having Tommy John surgery. He's going to be having Tommy John surgery. That was announced about 2 days ago? About 2 days ago. This is really a problem. And this is really a problem because this is one that the Rockies needed a guy to kind of right the ship. And he can't be there now. He can't be there to be that young arm to come in and take a stranglehold of the rotation. Now, granted, there are some veterans who are playing out of their mind right now, and there are some veterans who are kind of still trying to right the ship. But Chase Dollander was supposed to be the one who was to take that ship over, take that lead spot, take that ace away from Kyle Freeland. Nothing against Kyle Freeland. If anybody talks to me, I'm one of the biggest Kyle Freeland people. But he was supposed to come in and take that ace spot from Kyle Freeland at some point. Well, he can't do that this year. He's out. He's done for the year. So now, what do the Rockies do? You're not going to move Senzatella back to the starting rotation. If they do, that's a disaster in and of itself, because Senzatella is having a damn good year in the bullpen. He is having a really solid year in the bullpen. Plus, your bullpen is already a mess anyway, so might as well not move one of the few strong points in that bullpen. Might as well not do that. So what the Rockies have to do is take some of this outfield depth that they have, and they need to use it at the trade deadline to get some arms, or even a little bit before the trade deadline. But more than likely, it's going to be the trade deadline because that's where you might get the most value. But this is a problem. This is a problem that the Rockies have that they need to get figured out. Now, if it was me, if I was sitting here, you, as the GM or president of baseball operations of the Colorado Rockies, if it was me, I would be looking to trade Doyle, McCarthy, and maybe Thompson. Actually, no. Thompson, I would stick to my original point, send Thompson back down. Beck, you're not going to get anything for. Beck has had an absolutely horrendous year, and then the injury. You're not going to get anything for Beck, so might as well just DFA Beck. Doyle and McCarthy, you can actually get something for. Johnston as well, but I think Johnston could also be a great voice in the room. So I'm not quite ready to ship off Troy Johnston yet. So that leaves McCarthy, Doyle, and Freeman as trade options to get arms. Who that is, I'm still digging into that, and I could probably dig for another 3 weeks and come up with 100 options. Whether any of those options come to fruition, I don't know. But August 3rd, the MLB trade deadline, the Rockies have to be aggressive. They have to be. This is a team that they are sellers. Sell, sell, sell. Now, certain pieces, I say don't sell. Hunter Goodman, you ain't selling. TJ Rumfield, you ain't selling. Mickey Moniak, I go back and forth on. Maybe, maybe not. Because Mickey Moniak, you could also get some pretty high value for. But he is also another veteran you could have in the room. So that's going to be another one where I'm 50-50 on. Beyond that, Kyle Karros, I think he is going to be a trade option. Willie Castro, he might be a trade option, especially with how he's been playing as of late. I mean, gosh, look at the game against the A's where the Rockies set a franchise record scoring 22 runs and set a franchise record in hits with 24 hits. They went in and Willie Castro alone had 7 RBIs off, I want to say 4 hits, 5 hits. Just rattling off the top of my head. So Willie Castro is also a trade option. Edouard Julien, I don't really think you're going to get much for. Like, the Rockies have to be sellers at the trade deadline. They have to come in. They have to be out there saying, these guys are up for trade. We need arms. Come give us arms. Come give us pieces. That's pretty much because you have all of this young talent, especially in the outfield, knocking at the door, ready to kick that door open. But you have people in the way. As much of a fan as I am of Doyle, Doyle is going to be a trade piece. He has to be a trade piece. McCarthy, I think, is going to be a trade piece. Freeman, possibly a trade piece. Moniak, I go back and forth on that one. Because you have all-star caliber talent. But at the same time, this is a really bad team finally admitting to a rebuild in the midst of a rebuild where they need prospects. They need to build the farm system even more than they already have. So the Rockies have to make some choices, and I think Moniak is going to be one of them as well. Whether or not they do it, I don't know. I think Moniak is going to have to be one of those ones where He's not necessarily up for trade, but if the right value comes from Moniak, I think that's where the Rockies will strike, and I think that's where they should strike. I don't think he should necessarily be the end-all, be-all, trade him right here, come and get him like you would with Doyle and McCarthy, and even Freeman. But you have options with Moniak. You have some options. And that's just kind of where I'm bringing all of this together with the talk of these young players who are really starting to hit their stride. They're really starting to play well with TJ Rumfield. You had Sean Sullivan, the lefty, who he had a pretty good outing until he was just sicker than a dog and he couldn't go more than 3 innings. But he has some hope. I'm really excited to see what Sean Sullivan can do. Outside of that, some of these guys are just going to be 1-year guys. You have Jose Quintana, who he really hasn't panned out. You have Michael Lorenzen, who he's gotten better, but he's had his fair shares of ups and downs. And you have Kyle Freeland, who, really quick shout out to Kyle Freeland, surpassing Aaron Cook for all time of innings pitched on the Rockies. I mean, that's an incredible feat, especially for a pitcher of the Rockies. Like, that's tough to do. So, a lot of love to Kyle Freeland. Really, that's just awesome to see. But he is also going to be one of those where I think eventually, probably within the next 2 to 3 years, maybe 2 years, he's probably going to get phased out with another one of these young talents. And this is where the Rockies, again, coming back to that, the Rockies have to be aggressive at the trade deadline and get some legitimate arms. I'm not talking arms that are already at the big league level. I'm talking AAA, maybe double A, but I'm talking AAA level that can, within the next year to 2 years, come in and make an impact on the Rockies. Because some of these veterans, I mean, you have Tomoyuki Sugano, who he has been an extremely solid starter for the Rockies. And I've been really impressed with how well he has pitched for the Rockies. I mean, he has a 4.79 ERA, which, if you're pitching at Coors Field, that's not a horrendous ERA. In 14 games, out of 73 innings pitched, he's given up 13 home runs. Here's the thing with the 13 home runs, though. Only one, and this just recently happened against the Athletics, I believe. No, against the Cubs. Sorry, against the Cubs. Only one of those has been a multi-home run. It was a 2-run home run against the Cubs. All the others have only been solo shots. Now, again, do you want to give up a bunch of home runs? Absolutely not. But that's really, really great to see. And he has 41 strikeouts compared to 22 walks. He has played pretty darn well, especially for a pitcher of the friggin' Rockies, where they have to pitch at Coors Field half of the time. It's really impressive to see. I really like Tomoyuki Sugano. I really like what he has going for him. I'm really impressed with him. Is he back next year? Because I think he's only on a 1-year deal, or I think he has a club option next year, if anything. But he's not going to be the long-term guy. He's just not. He's in his mid-30s. He's not going to be that long-term guy as much as I like the guy. For the Rockies, they need arms. They need some pitching arms that can come in and make a statement. I have hope for Sean Sullivan. I hope he gets healthy. I hope he's all good now that sickness is over. And if he's able to make a next start, I hope he does as well as he did with those 3 innings we saw out of him. But they are the great thing about the Rockies to kind of tie this all together, especially with these young guys, they're fun to watch right now. They are fun and watchable. And Troy Rank of the Denver Gazette he had a great quote. Crowing about avoiding 100 losses is like bragging about being valedictorian when homeschooled. Like, just to kind of put a perspective on where the Rockies still are. This is a bad team. This is still a bad team, but they're fun and watchable while still being bad. It's weird to say, because especially since you had last year's team that just made you want to drink. I think any baseball fan would say that. It's really, I'm excited for the future of the Rockies. I'm excited for where they're going, but they have a long way to go. They have a long way to go with a lot to still, they have a lot of ground to make up, and this trade deadline is going to tell a lot. What is this new front office going to do? Are they going to be aggressive, which is what I think they have to be? Or are they just going to stand pat? And if they're gonna do that, the Rockies have some major, major problems. I don't believe so, but we will see. But all right, I think that's going to wrap this up here. This was a fun episode to do. A lot of stuff going on. I'm going to do another episode where I'm going to really break down what the Rockies should do at the trade deadline. Who's going to be pieces to move? Who's going to be pieces to keep? What all that ultimately can be. But I'm really just excited to see what's going to happen. I hope you guys are excited. I hope you guys are enjoying this baseball season, because it's a lot of fun. A lot of good baseball is being played. You have the Atlanta Braves, who I still think are the best team in baseball. You have the LA Dodgers, who are, the LA freaking Dodgers. They're just killing it. They have, I mean, they're just the best. You have Shohei Ohtani, who's competing for the Cy Young. He had a little bit of a banged up injury, but he's back and he's still just killing it. And then you have the Athletics, who are actually playing a little bit better baseball, but when they had those games at the AAA ballpark in Las Vegas, that was just hilarious to watch, because, man, you want to talk about the ball flying. That ball was absolutely flying all over the yard down there. And then you have the NL Central right now. Any team can take the NL Central. It is a dogfight right now. That has been some of the most entertaining baseball to watch, is anybody out of the NL Central. Now, granted, the Brewers just slapped the Rockies around not too long ago, but even then, I mean, they're the Brewers. They're the friggin' Brewers, and they're playing damn good baseball. The Cubs are playing some darn good baseball even with their pitching struggles. It's really cool to see. I hope you guys are enjoying it like I am. let's have some fun. Let's keep having fun. And I hope you like, subscribe. Please follow me on X for any updates. And I hope to catch you guys in the next episode. This has been Baselines to Sidelines. Nick, out.